from Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader. This is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Ahead on Good Morning Colorado, we're now hearing exclusively from the fiancée of a man killed by a suspected drunk driver Thursday night, how she says she's handling her loss.
And we're tracking some warmer air, at least briefly, but a storm is coming our way. We'll talk about that.
Plus, Donald Trump continues to shape his administration. We'll tell you who he's eyeing for Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. Good morning, Colorado. It's 8 o'clock on your Sunday, November 20th. I'm Stephanie Sierra. Developing overnight, a catastrophic derailment in northern India is responsible for killing 96 people. 14 cars on an overnight train rolled off the tracks, leaving a mangled mess. A police official said the death toll was likely to rise. At that point, rescue workers still have to gain access to one of the worst damaged cars. And here's a live look over La Vida. This is in Huerfano County, courtesy of our Vera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. And a beautiful shot this morning. It was a little windy yesterday, but not so much today. I'm going to send it over to Storm Tracker 13's Marty Venecinque. Marty, can we salvage this nice weather for much longer?
Well, we can sure get through the weekend with it, and quite frankly, it won't be too bad tomorrow. It's Tuesday when things start to change for the worse, or maybe the better, depending on your viewpoints. We'll start you out with Skyscan showing that, yeah, we have some clouds rolling over the state. There are even some light showers coming into the other side of the Continental Divide. We're not expecting anything widespread or heavy today, but yeah, if your travels take you out into western Colorado, you hit a few flakes or a few raindrops, I guess that shouldn't surprise you. 47 right now, Phil Lonkia. So the other big change between today and yesterday is it was in the teens at this time yesterday. So we're some 30 degrees warmer than we were over 24 hours ago. So we're on our way to a nice afternoon. Just a few clouds over Colorado Springs. As Stephanie mentioned, there's not much wind out there right now, and we don't expect today to be terribly windy. Now, Pueblo, we're closing in on 60 already at the Pueblo Chieftain Studio. You see the wind currently out of the northwest at 4 miles an hour. There are a few spots along the Arkansas River, a little bit cooler. But bottom line is it'll be nice this afternoon. We'll be in the 60s in both Colorado Springs and Pueblo by noon, with 60s and lower 70s then for the remainder of the afternoon. Again, some temperature bouncing around this morning. The Colorado Springs Airport showing 60, 45 at the Pueblo Airport. We just showed you in town in Pueblo, we're closer to 60, but we're all warming up. Again, Tuesday, that's the day where we could have some trouble with snow. And we'll talk about that in our main weather segment coming up in just a bit. Stephanie, back to you.
Marty, thank you. Now to the latest on Donald Trump's transition to the White House. The president-elect, again, keeping busy this weekend, working to fill top positions in his coming administration. Trump welcomed a steady stream of visitors yesterday as he conducted job interviews at one of his luxury resort properties. ABC's Mary Bruce is following the president-elect's transition.
The once bitter rivals now shaking it off.
Went great.
Donald Trump and Mitt Romney huddling for over an hour as the president-elect courts the former Republican nominee as a possible Secretary of State.
We had a far-reaching conversation with regards to the various theaters in the world where there are interests of the United States of real significance.
A far cry from this.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud.
He had his shot. He didn't like it when I said he choked like a dog.
Trump also seems to be turning a new page with the press.
These people are among the most dishonest people in the world, the media.
Staked outside in the cold.
What do you need? Some chocolate, hot chocolate? We'll take care of it. First time in my life I've taken care of it. We'll get it out.
It was a day of dizzying meetings at Trump's sprawling private golf club, a steady stream of cars pulling up with possible contenders, including education reform activist Michelle Rhee. Rhee's clashes with teachers' unions and support for charter schools were featured in the documentary Waiting for Superman.
You know that kids are getting a really crappy education right now.
She's now being floated for education secretary.
Went great. Really great.
And General James Mattis, who's being eyed for Secretary of Defense. Emerging from their meeting, Trump was impressed.
He's just a brilliant, wonderful man. What a career, and we're going to see what happens. But he is the real deal.
And we'll be keeping an eye on Donald Trump's transition to the White House right here on KRDO News Channel 13. Turning now to this morning's crime tracker. A 20-year-old man is recovering from a stab wound this morning. Police now saying he was injured by his 10-year-old brother. According to the Fountain Police Department, the two brothers were arguing over cigarettes in the 7300 block of Liberty Court yesterday morning. The older brother was sent to Memorial Hospital with minor injuries, where he was treated and released before refusing to press charges. And a Pueblo County officer-involved shooting earlier this year has now been ruled justified by the 10th Judicial District Attorney's Office. It happened after a suspect stole a vehicle at a gas station. The suspect, 23-year-old Enchado Gonzalez, started driving towards two Colorado State troopers in the vehicle. The troopers shot and killed him. A new, unique program in Pueblo designed to help struggling veterans navigate the legal system is claiming its first round of success. According to our partners at the Pueblo Chieftain, the Veterans Treatment Court Program has graduated its first 4 participants. The program is designed as an alternative to jail for vets suffering with disorders such as PTSD or traumatic brain injuries. Participants receive counseling and are intensely supervised. A hit-and-run driver is in custody after killing a man Thursday night. Now, as the grieving process begins, the victim's fiancé is speaking out for the first time since her life was changed. KRDO News Channel 13's Eric Fink has the story you'll only see here.
I feel so lost. He was my best friend.
Maricia Escarcega mourns for the man who was her world. A hit-and-run driver took the life of her fiancé, Miguel Moreno, at this Springs intersection.
He went in the car and took me out of my seatbelt and got me out, and then fell to the ground when he got me out.
The couple was on their way home from a funeral Thursday night. Moreno leaves behind a 9-month-old girl, and his fiancée was pregnant with their second child.
And I didn't get the chance to tell him that.
Daughter Anali having no idea her dad is now gone.
She was very close. She will never get to know him.
Police say they arrested suspect 48-year-old Augustine Castañeda Perez. His mugshot has not been released. In the midst of her shock, Escarcega has a message.
I'm not mad at no one. I just want the man who did this to know how much pain he has caused my family.
A grieving mother weeps and remembers, hoping for strength.
I try not to cry because he always told me that he never liked when I cried, and he always tried to make me happy.
In Colorado Springs, Eric Fink, KRDO News Channel 13.
Very tragic story. Police say alcohol was a factor in the accident. This case is the 30th traffic-related death in the city this year. While the first snowfall may make it seem like fire season is behind us in southern Colorado, Pueblo County residents are still healing from the Beulah Hill fire. Last night, the community gathered at the state fairgrounds at the Livestock Pavilion for an evening of entertainment along with a silent auction. Attendees saw it as much needed relief.
It makes me very happy and grateful that they can have a good time with their family.
People even took it upon themselves to fundraise before the event. Morgan Johnson, the girl we just heard from, was able to raise $200 for victims all on her own. The Circle Drive Church in Colorado Springs is marking 29 years of serving Thanksgiving meals to people who may go day to day without a bite to eat. In total, the church made a whopping 106 pies. Wow. 43 turkeys and all of the trimmings for the annual festivities. They were busy. More than 700 people came to the meal with friends and family to celebrate the holiday. Pastor Mike Rount says they are happy to give back to the community that has given so much to them.
It's our passion. It's what we love to do. So this event is just our opportunity to serve the community, the people of the community, and those who have needs.
All of the leftover food from the meal was donated to the Springs Rescue Mission homeless shelters. It was a dramatic performance of Hamilton in New York, but not all the action was on stage. We'll break down the latest surrounding the controversy of the cast's interaction with future Vice President Mike Pence and President-elect Donald Trump's response. We're taking a look outside of MLK in Union. Very light traffic this morning to start off your Sunday.
Much warmer than it was this time yesterday, and we're on our way to a real nice day today. Highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. We should only be in the upper 40s to mid 50s, so doing pretty well. But we're tracking another storm, and we'll do that for you in our 7-day forecast coming up soon.
Welcome back. We're taking a live look over Pueblo. This is courtesy of our Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. Beautiful shot there. Mild temperatures, and believe it or not, it's going to be pretty nice out today. It was a little windier in Pueblo this morning, so for those of you heading out, just grab maybe a light jacket. Time now, 8:13. Donald Trump took some time out of his planning for the presidency to respond to the disagreement he has towards the cast of the Broadway hit Hamilton. The incident involved one of the actors voicing his opinions to the incoming Vice President Mike Pence, who was in the audience. ABC's Candace Gibson explains the events leading up to this social media uproar.
You know, we had a guest in the audience this evening.
This morning, the cast of Hamilton and the Trump camp engaged in an all-out duel.
Vice President-elect Pence, I see you walking out, but I hope you will hear us just a few more moments.
The diverse cast delivering a special message to the Vice President-elect Mike Pence.
But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us. All of us.
President-elect Donald Trump taking a shot at the cast on Twitter, demanding they apologize, writing, "Our wonderful future VP Mike Pence was harassed last night at the theater by the cast of Hamilton. Cameras blazing. This should not happen." Within minutes, Brandon Dixon, who stars as Vice President Aaron Burr, challenged Trump's version of the story, saying, "Our conversation is not harassment. I appreciate Mike Pence for stopping to listen." With neither side apologizing, the controversy now proving as decisive as the election.
I don't think that any platform, even Broadway, would be inappropriate.
It was really not appropriate, and I was really disappointed, to be honest with you.
It's a free country. If you want to do something like that, you can.
Conservative critics calling to boycott Hamilton. Pence allies like Newt Gingrich and Mike Huckabee slamming the speech as an arrogant lecture. But their political rivals, including David Axelrod and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, praising the cast message of inclusivity. Mr. Trump on Twitter again this morning, tweeting, "The cast and producers of Hamilton, which I hear is highly overrated, should immediately apologize for their terrible behavior."
We'll keep you updated with this developing story right here on KRDO News Channel 13. NASA is looking to advance their weather predictions around the world. We'll show you their new transforming technology that is helping with their goal. That's coming up. And we're taking another look outside of I-25 in Motor City. Few more cars out. People are waking up.
And those people are noticing they don't have to scrape windshields this morning. It's much warmer. It will be a warm day today, a little breezy tomorrow. The new storm's coming tomorrow night and Tuesday. We'll talk more about that next. .18 on this Sunday morning, which has started out much warmer than what we had yesterday when we woke up to temperatures in the teens. We're already 40 right now at the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. Beautiful, mostly clear sky looking over the north face of Pikes Peak. Take it down to Walsenburg, where we have some wave clouds over the Spanish Peaks this morning, and we're a little closer to 50 degrees right now at the Spanish Peaks Veterans Community Living Center. Not a lot of wind right now either, which is always nice to be able to report. We're in for a real nice day today, folks. So already 60 at the Colorado Springs Airport. The Pueblo Airport is in the 40s. And as you head out the southeastern plains along the Arkansas River, it does get cooler. We're in the mid-30s right now in Lamar, but you'll all catch up eventually. Look at Salida, already showing 53 degrees. The rest of the mountain valleys are in the 20s and 30s. So we have some temperature variety out there, but the bottom line is the warmer air is coming overhead. Notice, by the way, we'll have kind of a mixture of clouds and sun through the afternoon as depicted here on Skycast. And we'll even have some very spotty light showers. Could be in the form of rain or snow depending on elevation out across the mountain areas. Most of those are going to be some snowflakes over the high peaks, but we don't expect any significant snowfall accumulations today. 60s and lower 70s should do it for the plains of eastern Colorado this afternoon. Leadville in the 40s. We'll expect 50s to around 60 for the rest of the mountains and mountain valleys in the southern part of the state. Then as we move into tonight, we'll notice, especially as we head towards midnight, we start to see a more organized area of snow developing over the southwestern mountains. Some of the snow showers may try to briefly move over the tops of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, but I don't think we'll have too much trouble as far as accumulating snow is concerned in those areas tonight. But we do have some weather advisories out there, and they go into effect for tomorrow and Tuesday. It's a mixture of winter storm watches in the blue, winter weather advisories in the white, and winter storm warnings in the red. For various times, by the way, but the first impacts will be felt out here in southwestern Colorado. Some of these mountains out here over the San Juans, they could pick up more than a foot of snow with this storm. Probably not quite as much over the northern and central mountains where most of the ski resorts are, but they'll get several inches of snow out of it too. And we should expect some tough travel out there starting tomorrow into Tuesday. Speaking of Tuesday, I think it's late Monday night into Tuesday morning that the snow starts to move into the Pikes Peak region. And so we could have some impacts to the commute here Tuesday morning around Colorado Springs. Highs only in the upper 30s, and the snow should accumulate, though this storm looks a little warmer than the last one. So I think we'll also have a lot of melting going on, especially with how warm we are at the moment. Bottom line, Tuesday looks like a much different day than we're going to see today or tomorrow. And then as we head towards Thanksgiving, things dry out. We stay seasonably cool, maybe a little breezy with some passing clouds. But all things considered, looks pretty nice for the holiday weekend. Saturday could be a little cooler, and we'll talk more about Saturday here in a moment when we get to the mountain forecast. Pueblo, we'll look for temperatures to be a little cooler tomorrow than today, but we're still talking mid-60s. And then Tuesday, some rain showers could switch over to some snow briefly. I don't think you'll have to worry too much about accumulating snow with the storm system, but hey, if we get something to fall from the sky, that'll be helpful. Back up into the 50s on Wednesday. Thanksgiving Day will be flirting with 60, and that's probably where we're going to stay on Friday as well. A little windy on Saturday as we start to cool off. Canyon City, we should reach 70 today, mid-60s tomorrow, 40s on Tuesday. Again, rain could switch over to snow briefly. Don't think it'll accumulate too much for you with the overall warmth of the system. We'll kick that out by Wednesday. Thanksgiving Day looks nice with upper 50s. Mountain areas, particularly in Teller County, could notice a couple of instability showers break out later on during the day tomorrow. Those are not going to be significant. I would not expect any travel problems through tomorrow evening. But tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, we'll probably see some more widespread snowfall move in. We could pick up several inches late Monday night into the day on Tuesday, and highs Tuesday only about 30. And then we look pretty dry through Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Saturday, there's another system that looks like it's going to bring some snow to the ski resorts. It could clip some of our mountain areas with a little bit of light snow shower activity on Saturday. I don't think it would be the type of thing that would accumulate much, but I don't want you to be surprised if that happens.
Good to know, good to know. So a few inches, enough to make a few snowballs?
In some areas, yeah, on the higher terrain in particular. So the usual suspects. You're traveling north between Colorado Springs and Denver over Monument Hill, probably. If you're going into Teller County, probably. As you get into town, it's going to be a little harder for it to stick, but I do think we could have just enough to make a mess of the commute.
Great, great. Good to know, because I sure want to make some.
It might work out for you.
Thanks, Marty.
You're welcome.
And taking a live look at Seattle, Washington. Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful shot that is. Look at that blue sky. We'll be right back.
Coming up in sports, a big day for high school football programs across southern Colorado, hoping to move on in the playoffs. We have your highlights coming up. A very good morning to you. I'm Nick Rothschild. This is your morning sports update. Discovery Canyon made the long journey up to Fort Morgan yesterday with a chance to host a 3A semifinal game on the line. Josh Tomjack getting the boys fired up. Now, jokingly, sometimes the coaches will call this offense Air Thunder because they run the ball so effectively. But look at this. Tyler McFarland to Tomjack on the play action pass. The robot is off to the races and he finds the end zone. They need even more from the passing game in this one. McFarland this time throws a strike to Sterling Watkins. Special teams also showing up huge. Mustangs punting Daniel Eggleston. He had other ideas. Punt blocked. Sets up the Thunder with good field position. DC grinds out a 7-point win over Fort Morgan. They'll host Silver Creek next week in the semifinals. The La Junta Tigers are on to the 2A championship game, but not without some drama. Down 14-0 in the fourth quarter, the Tigers battled back to score what looked like a game-tying touchdown in the final moments. But down 1 point, they elected to go for 2. And a wild play that ended with Appella Furtado Tom finding Canderezza sealed the deal. La Junta will host Kent Denver for all the marbles next week. Now, last Thursday, I introduced you to CSU Pueblo's Josh Smith, formerly of Sand Creek High School and a fast-rising star on the Thunderwolves basketball team. And as fate would have it, Smith balled out on Friday night against UCCS to help the Pack earn their first win of the season. Smith scored a game-high 16 points, including 4 threes, and also chipped in 4 rebounds and 3 assists. It's still very early in the season, but Smith believes this team has a very high ceiling.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to do things in the RMAC tournament and even the national tournament that not a lot of people have predicted us. But it always counts that next game. If we worry about what's too far ahead or too far behind, I feel like we'll lose track of just we got to win the next game every time. Every night we win the next game.
Big things coming from this Pack basketball team. You heard it here first. Hey, no Broncos today. They get a bye, so you get a bye too. I don't know, flip on the red zone or take a hike or something. Just remember, Broncos come back next week in prime time, hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, I'm Nick Rothschild. That's your look at sports. Have a great rest of your day.
Facebook has had enough with fake news websites. Now the social media network is cracking down on certain stories. Mark Zuckerberg has a plan to stop people posting those annoying articles with false information. Find out what he's got up his sleeve. Plus, the future of state driving tests is coming to Colorado. Find out what will be new for drivers across the state. That's coming up.
We're already off and running this morning. It's 60 at the Colorado Springs Airport. We'll be in the mid-60s at lunchtime, 60s and lower 70s expected this afternoon. So real nice wrap up to the weekend. We're turning our eyes to the west and tracking another storm. We'll show that to you coming up next. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this Facebook censoring fake news thing. What do you think about that?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Can I bring Bubba though? Maybe I'll say he's a service dog. No, I'm so down though. Yeah.
From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Good morning, Colorado. It's 8:30 a.m. on your Sunday, November 20th. I'm Stephanie Sierra. Now to the latest on Trump's transition to the White House. The president-elect still has his eye on several people for the position of Secretary of State, including former presidential nominee Mitt Romney. The two men had a meeting yesterday discussing the position at Trump's private golf course in New Jersey. A Romney appointment would come as great relief to U.S. allies who are deeply anxious about the direction of Trump's foreign policy. The 2012 Republican presidential candidate said the meeting went well and they had a good talk.
We had a far-reaching conversation with regards to the various theaters in the world where there are interests of the United States of real significance. We discussed those areas and exchanged our views on those topics. Very thorough and in-depth discussion in the time we had.
Names rumored for Secretary of State are former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. The president-elect also meeting with Marine Corps General James Mattis. Mattis is rumored to be a top prospect for Defense Secretary. The retired general served 4 decades in the Marines with experience in the Persian Gulf War, plus the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Trump called Mattis, quote, the real deal. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., protests continue against the alt-right, the group commonly associated with white nationalists. Hundreds of protesters were seen marching outside the National Policy Institute, where the group is holding a conference this weekend. Demonstrators say they're fearful of what a Trump presidency will do to American values, especially with Steve Bannon as a chief strategist.
We're a beautiful, open place. Donald Trump and the alt-right are trying to turn it into something that it's not in our country. I'm out here to say I'm not going to let it happen.
Some protesters did turn violent, injuring one man outside the National Policy Institute. A busy scene there. Wow, look at that video. He ended up with a gash on his forehead while police handcuffed 2 protesters. And here's a live look over Lamar. This is in Prowers County, courtesy of our Vero Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. And word on the street is we are actually going to have a nice day today, believe it or not. I'm going to let the pro take care of that, though. I'm going to send it over to Storm Tracker 13's Marty Viticinque. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Stephanie. As you saw in that shot, there are some clouds around. It's a little cool on the eastern plains with 30s, but it's not in the teens, which it was yesterday in the morning. And we're already in the 50s to lower 60s along the front range, so I'm sure you'll notice as soon as you step out there's a big change in the air. Skyscan shows the clouds drifting across the state right now, and if you look to the west, you'll actually see a little bit of radar activity, and so there are even a few light showers trying to move into the Continental Divide. There could be a few flakes up there today, but we're not expecting any significant snowfall in Colorado today. Storm that got us last week is still doing a number on the eastern Great Lakes, parts of New England, picking up some pretty healthy snow this morning. And we're also looking at rain move on shore across the west coast. That's the storm that we're tracking that's going to affect us as we head into tomorrow night and Tuesday, as it looks now. So cold over the east with 30s and 40s. We do have this ribbon of warmth streaming northward now across the front range, and that's why we think we'll be nice and warm today. This is just out ahead of that western storm and looks a little cooler as you head up towards the Pacific Northwest, which shouldn't be a surprise either. 68 today in Colorado Springs. Not record-setting, but, you know, only a few degrees off. About as nice as it gets this time of year, especially when we don't expect the wind to be real strong today. A little breeze, but not bad. Tonight, mid-30s. Tomorrow, low 60s. A little bit more wind. Clouds on the increase, so it won't be quite as nice tomorrow as today, but still looks like a pretty good start to the work week. Pueblo, 72 today. About the freezing mark tonight. We'll be in the mid-60s tomorrow. Look for the wind to start to pick up a little bit tomorrow. It's tomorrow night into Tuesday when we think some rain and snow will spread into the area. We'll talk more about that in our 7-day forecast, and that's coming up in just a bit. Stephanie, back to you.
Marty, thank you. The Zika virus outbreak is no longer an international public health emergency, according to the World Health Organization. This doesn't mean Zika is completely gone, but on a global level, thankfully, the spread of Zika is under control. Zika is spread mostly by infected mosquitoes and can cause birth defects in unborn children. WHO says it will now create a technical committee to handle Zika research and efforts going forward. Right now, there is no vaccine or medicine to treat the virus. Avoiding mosquito bites is the only known prevention. Family and friends in Missouri gathered yesterday to remember the life of a U.S. soldier killed in Jordan. Sergeant First Class Matthew Llewellyn and 2 other U.S. service members were killed earlier this month during a training mission. Fellow soldiers remembered Llewellyn as a colleague who put his team's welfare before himself. They said he had a positive impact on both their personal and professional lives. Mourners gathered at the AME Church in Washington, D.C. yesterday to remember the life of PBS NewsHour co-host Gwen Ifill. Ifill died Monday from endometrial cancer. She is remembered as one of the most prominent journalists in the country, breaking down barriers as a black female reporter and political moderator. Incredible career. Facebook is taking steps to prevent fake news stories from being shared on the social media site. The move came after criticism that fake news may have affected the outcome of the presidential election. Zuckerberg says Facebook is working to better detect fake news and to raise red flags about questionable stories, adding that the company wants to make it easier to report fake news. We are just hours away from the American Music Awards airing tonight right here on KRDO. Bruno Mars will be kicking off what he promises to be a spectacular show. Unlike the Grammys, the winners are decided by the fans, and the hosts are promising plenty of surprises. ABC's Rachel Smith is in Los Angeles with more.
Tonight's the night.
You gotta be there live.
Promising plenty of glam, plenty of superstars on stage, and of course, plenty of these bad boys.
Thank you guys so much.
With some of music's biggest names getting ready to shine, one of the most anticipated performances will be from one of the night's biggest honorees, Sting. Something this year's hosts Jay Pharoah and Gigi Hadid are pretty excited for.
Roxanne.
Besides showing off their singing chops,
You don't have to send your body to the night.
Yeah, I like that.
the two revealing what we should expect only on GMA.
In the monologue, we're not going to be safe.
The pair planning on pulling out all the stops.
Maybe they love us, maybe they hate us.
No. They will know. They will love us.
Yep, there are plenty of secrets and surprises in store. Lady Gaga's performance, so shrouded in mystery. Her rehearsal, totally off limits to prying eyes.
I'm playing the American Music Awards with the most light bulbs I've ever had on stage.
And while we spotted James Bay perfecting his hit, Let It Go, his Love Yourself collaborator, Justin Bieber, is 6,000 miles away in Italy.
What do you mean?
Which means he won't be here to claim victory if he beats out his 4 fellow Artists of the Year nominees. But the Biebs reportedly planning to rock the house live via satellite. So with such a huge night on their hands, how are Gigi and Jay getting ready?
Stretching. A lot of stretching. It's
We did
all about
skydiving yesterday just for like the mental aspect.
For Good Morning America, Rachel Smith, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I'm excited for those surprises. You can catch all the action right here on KRDO beginning at 7 o'clock. A popular snack on the shelf is facing a voluntary recall. We'll tell you why health officials are worried about a listeria outbreak. We'll be right back. Kuala Lumpur. Lumpur. Okay, thanks. Okay, time check dead. Welcome back. We're more than a day into what's already been a 48-hour ceasefire in Yemen. The ceasefire was declared by the Saudi-led military coalition. The ceasefire began at noon in Yemen yesterday. Reports say humanitarian aid will be delivered to conflict areas during the ceasefire. The coalition says it could be renewed if Houthi rebels and their allies honor it. And in Syria, the UN is reporting the rebel group has agreed in principle to let food and medicine into the country. At this moment, however, Syria and Russia have not approved the relief plan. We want to warn our viewers this video does contain some disturbing footage. Activists say the video shows some of the victims of the government airstrikes that have been relentless over the last 4 days. 46 people were killed on Friday, making it one of the bloodiest days in the war yet. Sabra Dipping Company has issued a voluntary recall of some of its hummus and spreads because of a possible listeria contamination. The FDA says the affected products were manufactured before November 8th at a plant where the bacteria was found. Consumers are urged to discard any product with a best before date through January 23rd, 2017 on the lid. Now, your Storm Tracker 13 forecast with Marty Vitachinque is up next. But first, here's what's coming up on This Week with Martha Raddatz.
Good morning. Donald Trump's leadership team is starting to take shape and drawing fire from critics. Our team of reporters has the latest on the controversy surrounding some of Trump's most loyal supporters. And what do Trump's picks tell us about how he will lead at home and abroad? I'll go one-on-one with Trump's chief of staff, Reince Priebus, and former CIA director Michael Hayden to talk about that. Plus, newly elected Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer discusses the Democratic Party's future. All that, plus the roundtable weighs in, coming up on This Week.
8:46 on a lovely Sunday morning. Temperatures in many cases along the Front Range are already into the 50s to lower 60s. 54 right now along Highway 115 at Turkey Creek. Just a few clouds around. Obviously much warmer than it was this time yesterday in the morning. And a mostly sunny sky in Pueblo as well. The Pueblo Chieftain Studios at 59. The airport's still in the 40s. But regardless, it's a nice start to the day considering how late we are into November. Skycast shows we should expect a mixture of clouds and sun as we head into the afternoon. There might even be a few flurries up across the Continental Divide, but we're not really expecting any significant snowfall over the mountains during the day today. At lower elevations, we'll be focusing more on our temperatures. We'll be in the 60s to lower 70s today, so real nice day. Led to about 48, 50s to around 60 should do it for the rest of the mountains and southern valleys. And the wind won't be terribly strong today either, maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour on the high side. Overnight tonight, we'll start to notice some changes late tonight with some snow beginning to spread into southwestern Colorado. The heaviest of it really won't come in until after midnight, but we do have a host of weather advisories in effect for mountain areas, both for tomorrow and Tuesday. So where you see blue winter storm watches, where you see white winter weather advisories, and where you see red winter storm warnings. And out here across the San Juan Mountains, some locations could pick up more than a foot of snow with this next system. Probably not quite as heavy for the ski resorts in the northern and central part of the state, but they'll do all right as well. Tuesday, by the way, in the morning, you see this area of snow that Skycast wants to hold just to our north through 9 o'clock. There are some indications with newer model information this morning that some of this stuff will slide through prior to daybreak, and if so, it could impact the morning commute on Tuesday. So we still have some details to iron out on this, but I do think the bottom line is we should expect some snow on Tuesday, and the heaviest of it will probably be located on the higher terrain around the Pikes Peak region again, similar to what happened with the last storm. Still, Tuesday looks like an unsettled day. After hitting the 60s tomorrow, we'll only be in the 30s, so big changes. We'll have that system out of here by Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving Day looks fine. Partly cloudy, maybe a little breezy, seasonably cool with temperatures in the mid-50s. Friday looks pretty quiet, too, for those of you that are going to do that whole shopping thing. Saturday, I think, will be kind of blustery. Some wind will pick up. It'll be a little cooler. Might even be a chance for a few flurries somewhere in the afternoon. I think it's more likely on the mountains than here at lower elevations, and we'll track that through the week as well. Let's get through the Tuesday storm first. Well, a little cooler tomorrow, probably a little breezier as well. Temperatures on Tuesday will be in the 40s, maybe falling into the 30s during the afternoon. This storm's a little warmer than the last one, so I think you might actually start out with rain before it switches over to snow. But the bottom line is I don't think it's going to be cold enough for snow to stick very well for you in Pueblo, even if you get it. So, hey, if we get something to fall out of the sky, great. But right now, I wouldn't expect too much trouble traveling the roadways through the Steel City. Canyon City, your high today is 70. Tomorrow, mid-60s, so real nice the next couple of days. Tuesday, obviously cooler with that mixture of rain and snow showers. Highs could reach the 40s. We'll drop off some in the afternoon. Then we look fine through the rest of the holiday weekend, as best we can tell, with temperatures in the 50s and just partly cloudy conditions. Mountain areas in Teller County could pick up a couple of raindrops or snowflakes late tomorrow afternoon. That's not really the main concern for us. We wouldn't expect any accumulating snowfall during the day tomorrow. But again, tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, it's possible, and then during the day on Tuesday as well. And probably several inches. I don't think this will be a huge storm by mountain standards, but could be enough to make for some headaches on the roadways. We'll get it out of here in time for Thanksgiving. Highs back into the 40s, and maybe by the time we hit next weekend, we could have another chance for a little bit of snow. The next storm for next weekend looks to bring snow more to the ski resorts than it does to our area, but it's close enough that we'll have to keep an eye on it.
It's good it's going to the resorts because that's where everyone's going to be skiing.
Yeah, they need it, and they've definitely been short, so it's good to see some snow falling up there too.
Right, right. And again about this windshield defroster, I just want to, I'm really blown away by this. You put it right on your dashboard, and I'm going to try it out this week, so I'll let you know next week and if it's any good. But
sounds better than sitting in a car for 10 minutes.
Exactly, exactly. Thanks, Marty.
You're welcome.
It's Sunday, and that means we want to check in with our news partners at KRDO Radio for this week's Business Connection. A Southern Colorado tradition returns from Woodland Park, the 18th annual Holiday Home Tour. Mike Lewis has the details.
I'm Mike Lewis from KRDO News Radio, and this is the KRDO Business Connection, where we talk about some great things that businesses around Southern Colorado are doing. And I'd like to welcome in today, we've got Kelly Case from Tweeds. Tweeds is in Woodland Park, in a big annual event that's been going on for 18 years, getting ready to happen. Kelly, welcome to KRDO.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, tell us about the Holiday Home Tour.
This is our 18th tour, as you said. We do a set of 6 venues that are decorated professionally, where folks can visit see professional decorating for the holidays. This year it's 125th anniversary of the City of Woodland Parks being founded, and we have the History Park on the tour this year with a bunch of historical buildings, a lot of different fun things.
Well, you know what's really great about this is you get so many ideas. You know, maybe you've been decorating your house the same way for 10 years, and it's beautiful, but you want to change things up. You take this tour, you're going to get all kinds of great ideas, and you may come back and say, you know what, let's move the tree over here and switch this around, and it's going to look great.
You bet.
Now, how do folks get tickets? And, by the way, this is a fundraiser, so tell us how people can get tickets and then where the fundraising money goes to, please.
Okay. We have several locations. You can buy your tickets online at our website at wphht.org, or we have venues in Woodland Park, Tweed's Fine Furnishings, Brenda's Boutique, City Market, and Snippets and Scraps up in Woodland Park, where you can buy tickets.
All right, and who do you benefit? We just have a few seconds left.
We benefit the Ute Pass Historical Society, the Clothes Closet, and Friends of the Rampart Library District.
All right, if you've never taken the tour before, this is a great time, and you'll have a wonderful time. And again, it's going to be on December 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th, 10 to 5, both days.
All right. KRDO News Channel 13 continues in a moment.
Oh, sorry. I thought it said stand by. Welcome back. It's the second best thing to help forecast weather models, right behind our very own Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinacinque. NASA has launched the GOES-R satellite from Cape Canaveral last night after it was built here in Colorado. The launch was delayed for a short time because of a technical issue, but was able to fly without any problems. The GOES-R satellite is the first of 3 satellites being built to replace the aging United States Weather Satellite System. The future of the state driving tests is here. Colorado will test digital licenses for drivers in a new 2-year pilot program. Gemalto Inc. was given $2 million from the U.S. Commerce Department to make a driver license mobile application for the Centennial State. The program's start date has not yet been determined, but will soon be implemented across the state. And we're taking you outside to Powers and Constitution. Very light traffic this morning and beautiful temperatures ahead. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time to see how you wake up, Colorado. Oh, look at this cute little puppy. This is Bubba. Gosh, this dog looks awfully familiar. I gotta say, those German Shepherd and Rottweiler mixes make some pretty good-looking pups. Thank you to James, our producer, for sending in this cute little visitor of ours today.
We've been tracking, obviously, a storm system that's coming into the area on Tuesday. Thanksgiving Day is Thursday, so we've talked about this week pretty in depth now. How about next week? Looks like we're going to get pretty cool. And maybe early next week we could have some snow as well, with temperatures only in the 30s and 40s. I mean, that shouldn't surprise anybody. We're heading into December, so I guess it's supposed to be cold, but been too accustomed to days like today, I guess. And we'll be tracking the impacts on the storm for Tuesday, by the way, on your morning commute. I do think there's some potential we'll have some slick spots around Tuesday morning. So make sure you stay with us the next couple of days, and good luck with that.
We'll be tracking. Thanks for joining us.